Hi, my name is Matt Helmke, and I'm a senior strategist with 0 to 5 out of our Philadelphia area office. Today, I'd like to take a few minutes to discuss best practices in presentation design, development, and delivery through an overview of some of my key takeaways from author Garr Reynolds' book, Presentation Zen. Reynolds is an internationally acclaimed presentation designer and communications expert living in Japan whose clients include many in the Fortune 500. His book Presentation Zen combines strong design principles with the tenets of Zen simplicity to help readers develop simpler, more effective presentations. I highly recommend this book to anyone who works with presentations in their professional life. In fact, many feel, and myself included, that this book should come packaged with every copy of PowerPoint and Keynote that's sold. So with that, let's get started. Reynolds opens up with a powerful analogy that, in my opinion, sets the tone for the entire book. Comparing presentations to a Japanese boxed lunch or bento, he states, "The Japanese bento is presented in a simple, beautiful, and balanced way. Nothing lacking, nothing superfluous. Not decorated, but wonderfully designed. It looks good and it tastes good. A satisfying, inspiring, and fulfilling way to spend 20 minutes." When was the last time you could say the same about a presentation? The first step in the design of any presentation is planning. What is the story you want to tell? What are your core messages? If your audience walks away only remembering one thing, what do you want that to be? To do this effectively, Reynolds recommends you plan analog. Unplugging and stepping away from your computer can lead to more clarity and better, more creative results when you finally get down to representing your ideas visually. Next, you should always put yourself in the shoes of your audience and ask, "So what?" Or in Japanese, "Dokara nani?" I'll bet each of us at one time has found ourselves sitting in the audience during a presentation asking, "What is this person talking about, and what does this have to do with the topic of their presentation?" If the content of a slide doesn't further your story, cut it out, plain and simple. Oftentimes, presenters succumb to the overwhelming pressure to include every last bit of information with each little supporting statistic into their presentations. This is a mistake. I know what you're thinking. Those 16 bullets, 10 charts, and however many other facts and figures are absolutely critical to your presentation, and it's even more critical that your audience be able to read each of them on the screen while you simultaneously read them aloud. Right? Wrong. Slides are speaker support tools. Reynolds believes, and I strongly agree, that slides should be completely incapable of standing by themselves and are thus useless to give to your audience. If slides can stand by themselves, frankly, what the hell are you doing up there in front of them? The solution? Prepare a thorough leave-behind document with as much detail as you need. This frees you to focus on what is most important to your audience on that day and eliminates the worry of excluding those important charts, figures, and detailed bullets. So besides giving the audience a handout to review after the presentation, how do you make sure ideas stay with them and resonate? You need to craft messages that stick. So what makes an idea sticky? Reynolds identifies 6 key principles of sticky ideas that are summed up in the creative acronym SUCCESS. That's success with only one S at the end. These principles are simplicity, unexpectedness, concreteness, credibility, emotions, and stories. If your messages adhere to these principles, they'll stick. Okay, so now you have all these great, sticky ideas and you want to share them all with everyone. Often proud of their great work, presenters tend to include too much information. You should always think of your audience first and keep your talk as short as possible while still doing an effective job of telling your story. When you finish creating your presentation, go back and edit like crazy. When you're finished doing that, go back and do it again. It's always better to leave your audience hungry and craving more than stuffed and sick to their stomachs. All of this boils down to simplicity. Simplicity is not about taking shortcuts or ignoring complexities. It's about clarity, essentialness, subtlety, and minimalism. A great way of achieving simplicity in presentations is through the use of images. Images are a powerful and natural way for humans to communicate. Reynolds details the picture superiority effect, which states that pictures are remembered better than words. This effect should be kept in mind when designing slides that support your story, and the images you choose should complement both your content and your presentation style. Reynolds also talks about reducing noise in your presentations. This speaks to the concept of signal versus noise. For our purposes, this is the ratio of relevant to irrelevant information in a slide. This can include text, images, animations, or even slide transitions. If a message can be designed with fewer elements, then there's no point in using more. Along these same lines is the idea that empty space is okay. Empty space is not nothing. It is something that can be manipulated to give your slide designs greater interest. While simplicity is the goal, Reynolds also warns of being too simple. It then becomes the presenter's job to find the most appropriate balance for his or her situation and audience. Now that your presentation is engaging, thoughtfully designed, and thoroughly edited, it's time to present it. It's time to close your eyes, take that big cleansing breath, and find your happy place. Presentation requires your full presence at that time and place. This is what Reynolds describes as being completely there, the art of Presentation Zen. So here we are. What's the conclusion? According to Reynolds, there is no conclusion. There's only the next step. The next step is completely up to you. My suggestion? Go get the book, read it, practice it. It's my hope that in your next presentation or talk, you let the principles we discussed influence your planning, design, and delivery. Trust me, your audience will thank you. So now it's my turn to thank you. I hope you found this presentation enjoyable and hopefully a little educational. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me directly. Thanks again.